See, I am watching as the body of Messiah keeps getting darker and darker, and I'm not saying this as if it's not happening to myself as well, because honestly, we're a body, and so when one part of the body is sick, all of the parts of the body are sick. And so he said, there's nothing new under the sun. I know a lot of people believe that Jesus died and resurrected 2,000 years ago. But the truth of the matter is, Yeshua was the first created. He is the Word of the Most High, the Father, and He created everything through Yeshua, which is His words, from the beginning. That's why John 1:1 says, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now, that word God doesn't necessarily mean the Father. Even the children of Israel were actually called gods. It just means one with power. And so the Word was there during the time of Adam. It was there during the time of Noah. It was there with Abraham, with Jacob, with Israel, with David, all the way down until now. And it is the beginning and the end and everything in between. That's why he said, tell the children of Israel, I am that I am. Or what it actually was I am, I was, I am, and I will be. And so the Word has been there forever, and it's not going to stop being there. And so what happens is, though, people can crucify Christ or the Word in the flesh, and they can go in the grave for that reason. That's the whole idea of Yeshua being in the belly of the earth for 3 days. And so, I think it's in Ezekiel 37, the Father is basically like, I will bring Israel out their graves, because they had crucified Christ, if you will. And so they went into the grave. They experienced spiritual death. But he said, I will raise them from the grave if they repent in sackcloth and ashes. And that is the time that we're in right now. So I guess you can call it the Passover. And it's a legit Passover. A lot of people are coming up and they're saying 3 days of darkness. And a lot of people say, oh, well, this is a Catholic doctrine. I guess you can say it's a Catholic doctrine. I mean, I think they just stole the doctrine from what it actually was and gave it a new name. But this 3 days is legit. And so it's just 3 days of when the whole world goes into chaos, pretty much, because they have crucified the living Word. But after that 3 days, these people will resurrect. The Word will resurrect. I'm guessing the two witnesses may be like the Word. I know one of them is probably the Word. I'm not sure what the other one is. It's something to pray about. But yeah. And so when you crucify the Word, you're basically crucifying the life and the truth in you. And I had a dream probably like 2 weeks ago, where basically the earth there was a planet, maybe it was Planet X or Planet Nero, and it had crashed into like the moon or something, or a fake moon. I can't remember exactly what it was, but all these asteroids started destroying the earth. So it talks about in Revelation how I think 1/3 or maybe 2/3, I think it's 2/3 of the stars will fall, and something like that. And so what ended up happening was, while all this was going on, these asteroids were hitting the earth, I was sitting in a school with all these kids, and I was like, there's no way I can protect these kids. Like, there's just no way. I'm about to cry. Anyway, what ended up happening is there was 3 parts of the school, and one asteroid came down and destroyed the first part. One asteroid came down and it destroyed the third part, and then I was sitting in the middle part, and I was like, logic would dictate the next asteroid is going to destroy the part I'm in. And literally this asteroid came down. It looked like it was coming for the part I was in, but it ended up destroying the third part. And so it was so crazy. The Father had took me to, I think it was Ezekiel, maybe 13, I can't remember exactly, but it said this. It says it's going to destroy like 2/3 part of the earth, and that's exactly what I got out of it. But this whole thing is for renewal. So you know how Yeshua said, tear down this temple and I'll rebuild it in 3 days. This is what is being spoken of, because sometimes we get doctrines and thoughts and we start to build up idols and that kind of thing, and then all of a sudden we're worshiping all these different things, ourselves included. We're bogged down with heaviness and with stress and that kind of thing, And so that temple has to actually be destroyed. He said, I will refine 2/3 of you in the fire. He's talking about 2/3 of the body of Messiah, but not only 2/3 of the body of Messiah, but 2/3 of you. And so he has to destroy some things that maybe he gave you in order to rebuild those things, because you got too pompous or you started worshiping this and that. And so that's basically what's going to happen. I'm going to tell the body of Christ, do not fret. It is not the end. Keep your trust in him. Keep your faith in him. He is renewing everything right now. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to be brought to dust. You know, there's beauty out of ashes. To be able to walk in a fuller likeness to our God. And so I just want to encourage you guys, don't worry, you know, having faith in him is even having faith in him like Job did when Job ended up being sick. He said, I'm not going to give up on my God, basically, no matter what he does to me. And so that's the kind of faith that we also need to have. He has not left us. He will not forsake you. So as much as you can, pray incessantly, meditate on the word. Definitely keep